Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Diamond Chronicles, true tales of trade, trust, and betrayal. Hi, Colin.
Hi, Judy. How are you?
I am a little bit under the weather. How about
Again,
you?
Judy?
I'm always...
Again? Like...
It's really cloudy and dreary this morning.
Oh, so you mean under the weather, like we're under the weather?
Yeah, like under the weather. How are you today?
I'm, a little bit under the weather. And let me expand on what she's trying to say. Is we're in downtown Vancouver here, and the air quality apparently is the worst of any metropolitan city in the world. And if you've listened to the podcast, you know I've been to some pretty... polluted metropolitan cities, too, that come to mind right away.
Like
Beijing, Shanghai. When I was in Jakarta in Indonesia, that was another city where there was a lot of smog. So to have the honor of being in... Now, I have to point out, having said that on average throughout the year, the air in Vancouver for a metropolitan city apparently is the best in the world. Right. So this is a bit of an anomaly for us, but yeah,
we'll get over it.
We'll get over it. But like if I'm in Beijing or Shanghai, my eyes water a little bit, my sinuses burn a little bit.
Yeah, he's not really pleasant to be around right now, guys.
At the best of times, right?
What is new this week, Colin?
Well, I think our format, we've decided this week, because there's so much interesting news going on in the industry, confusing, interesting, fake news, a lot of it. Pardon me, see that cough in my throat? That's from the smoke. It's crazy. So much interesting news that we've decided as a new format for the podcast. We're going to talk about the articles. We do this weekly. There's some news that comes out each week. Each day, I'm shocked about how much news is coming out right now. But we picked 3 articles, and we're going to review those quickly. And today's an exciting day because we're going to talk about, over the next few weeks, is robberies and robbery attempts in the diamond industry. Some of them on yours truly. So
take it away, Juju.
Right. So which articles are we talking about, first of all? I know you picked some really interesting stories.
So we've picked out, curated, I should call it, 3 articles that we think you guys will be very interested in. The first one is on Pandora.
The biggest jeweler in the world. And people don't understand that Pandora... It's not Tiffany. It's not...
No, and they don't claim to be.
Right?
Yeah.
It's Pandora, that little jeweler that you see in the mall, is by far, in terms of revenues, globally, the biggest jeweler in the world.
Which is crazy to say, because the CEO says his average sale is $60 to $70.
Right?
Crazy.
It's just amazing.
And they say 8 out of 10 women recognize the brand Pandora. So
Wow.
They're very well known. So this article talks about the fact that Pandora...
Do they sell $80 engagement rings? Maybe that's...
So they were saying that they sell 15-pointer diamonds for under a couple hundred. So Pandora's new lab-created diamond collection offers accessible luxury. And like we say, they don't claim to be Tiffany. They don't claim to be De Beers.
But you know what I find interesting about that is where Louis Vuitton has just come out and used the word luxury in association, or LVMH has come out and used the word luxury in association with lab-created diamonds.
With
Here it is now with Pandora. And I'm sorry, I don't disagree. The best trained eyes in the world can't tell the difference between a diamond that came out of a laboratory and a diamond that comes out of a mine. You're talking about price points that are so far apart. It's crazy. And they're diamonds. So good for Pandora. What's the next article?
The next article is on Russia. So diamonds offered as investment for private investors.
I find this one to be You know where I'm at with the Russian blood diamond issue. Well, apparently what's going on here is Russia is holding meetings and talks about investment in diamonds and making recommendations when the whole world should be banning Russian diamonds. And yet, they've changed the currency that they're dealing with, and they're able to go back out into this world of ours. And the United States and Joe Biden, of who I'm not a fan, sits by idly and lets these guys sell blood diamonds into the markets. Now, what really surprises me here is, in conjunction with the next article, let's talk about these two together because they kind of go together.
Mm-hmm. The next one is the Natural Diamond Council, or the NDC, names new celebrity ambassador Lily James and unveils next global advertising campaign. Does anyone know who Lily James is?
This is the actress, right? I was reading about Tiffany this morning, and it's Beyonce is doing. Everybody knows who Beyonce is.
I had to look up who Lily James is, and her largest roles are in the 2015 Cinderella movie. That's all.
But here's the problem that the natural, what do they call them?
The Natural Diamond Council.
The Natural Diamond Council is having problems with funding. So in the article, they talk about the fact that the problem they're having is because of Russia. But Russia is doing just fine according to Russia. I'll tell you the problem they're having is they're dealing with natural diamonds.
Right, and that's just it.
Or mine diamonds, as I prefer to refer to them.
Right, because they're all natural.
It's like organic food, and who knows? It just means they're grown. So it's an interesting time in the diamond business. I find it so funny that a no-name actress, that they even bother to. Anyway. I don't want to come across as cynical. We are not cynical. We love the industry. We are so involved in the industry at every single level globally. But, again, these things, when we read these things, and they're coming from credible sources, and
only credible sources. We don't have any articles that come from weird sites.
And so to see the Russian article come out a day after the Natural Diamond Foundation, or whatever they call themselves, right? It just boggles the mind.
Interesting stuff.
Interesting. So those are the articles that will be attached to this week's letter. If you need more details on this, you can certainly email us or call us.
I'll go ahead and attach it.
And they'll be up on the website as well now?
They'll be up on our newsletter or our mail.
Okay, cool. So
stuff.
There you go. So that's this week in the diamond industry.
The Diamond News Direct is what we like to call it.
And now we get back to the Diamond Chronicles, and we talked about...
So we're going to bring you the true tales of trade, trust, and betrayal. And today's episode, we're going to be talking about... Well, Colin will be talking about his experience with getting robbed.
Well, the first time.
There's multiple.
Okay, it's the diamond industry, and it's not for the timid. And the story I'm going to tell today is, everybody knows, I think at this point, that a big part of my career has been supplying diamond jewelry stores with diamonds. Even when I used to work with the Gleisberts, and I'd have $15 million in a briefcase and hop on a plane and fly out to the East Coast, the people you actually worried the most about were the jewelers that you sold to, because really they were the only ones that would know that you're traveling with diamonds.
Right. Because you would have an alias, people wouldn't know.
That's right. This afternoon, what time in the afternoon, we have this fellow from India trying to come in and show us diamonds today. We don't know who he is, so we're certainly not letting him into our high secure offices here high above the beautiful Marriott Hotel in downtown Vancouver. But that's how the business is conducted. You have to deliver the diamonds. And the first robbery attempt, and it was a successful attempt on their part that I ever had. Yeah, I guess I've never told you this story, eh?
You never told me they were successful in it.
Oh, well, I was sitting playing backgammon. If anybody wants to play backgammon, I'm available.
I don't know what that is. Backgammon.
Okay, it's a board game.
Game board?
That you can gamble.
The smoke is really getting to you, hey?
What?
What?
This one? No, you are really getting to me.
So you were playing this game.
So I was sitting with a jeweler.
Okay. Paint the picture. Where were you? What
Okay,
was the
so
context?
I deal with this jeweler. I deal with the jewelers. I sell them diamonds. That's my job, right? And so I'm traveling around in my little BMW, driving around to jewelry stores selling diamonds.
In Vancouver?
In Vancouver,
Nice.
yeah. At this point, that's where I was. And I was sitting, it was 3 days before Christmas Day, the 25th of December. I don't like to talk about Christmas a lot because we have a lot of clients who don't subscribe to Christianity. And so...
True that.
Right. So, but it was a few days before Christmas Day, and I was sitting playing backgammon with this client of mine who was a jeweler, and we were having a good time. And I got a phone call from another jeweler who was looking for some very specific diamonds. And so, coming up to Christmas, it's busy. Everybody's running all over the place.
But 3 days before.
3 days.
It's a little
before.
last minute.
No, it's right up until,
Really,
Judy,
it's
you haven't
crazy
been
stuff.
here. We'll be delivering diamond jewelry on Christmas morning.
Oh.
Right?
Great.
Well, I will. I doubt you'll be here for that one. But literally, I would run them to the jewelry store. So I go to my vault and get the diamonds and put them in my. Well, I'll tell you the whole story. I used to wear a strap on my leg that I got at Travel Bug. There's a little
Travel
place
Bug.
here, where you can get things for traveling, so you can hide your money and
right,
everything.
right.
So I got it at Travel Bug, and it was a thing that wrapped onto my leg, and I would put the diamonds in there, and away I'd go. So no one could just grab you or frisk you and know you have them.
So in this case, it wasn't in your pocket.
It wasn't in my pocket. And in these days, this has got to be, it's a couple decades ago, I was I used to park my car at DPG parking on the corner of Richards and West Georgia in downtown Vancouver.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we drive by there all
Every
the time
day.
on the way to our manufacturing for where we manufacture our jewelry. And so it was just getting dark. It was in the evening. I was heading out to the jeweler. I went to my vault and headed over to the car. And when I got to the car, I was getting ready to get into the car. And I'm pretty cautious even today. I mean, wherever I go,
Yeah,
wherever I
he
travel,
is.
except anymore, I don't carry diamonds, which is a big difference between then and today. We use couriers to move them around,
Right.
which is really, it got sealed up during COVID, with being able to use couriers to do just about everything with. It's all insured. It's very, very much safer certainly for me. But in this case, I was heading to my car, and I'll never forget, I opened the car door to my little BMW. I can't remember which model it was. It doesn't really matter. And all of a sudden, there were two guys on me. There was what
my
I was
God.
told was a gun at the back of my head, and I was forced face down into my little BMW. And I'll tell you this, you guys, I had a young family then.
Oh my God.
I was married, and I literally kept thinking, oh my goodness, in this life, the last thing I'm ever going to see, these are the weird thoughts when you're a victim of these sorts of assaults, the last thing I'm ever going to see in this world is the floor mat on the passenger side,
Oh
because
my
they
God.
forced me down.
So you were
in the
face
car.
down.
Face down. And it's interesting because I had anticipated that someday, if I ever got robbed, what my choices would be. And, I took a couple courses on it, and I talked to police officers, and the one thing I didn't want to do was see their face. And so as soon as they did it, they sounded like they were Asian. I don't know.
What do you mean they sounded like they were
They had
Asian?
an accent.
Oh.
Here's what I can remember distinctly what they were saying. They kept saying, "Where the fucking diamonds? Where the fucking diamonds?" And so what I did immediately was close my eyes because I didn't want to see them. And I started explaining to them where the diamonds were. I didn't offer any resistance whatsoever.
Good, as they say you shouldn't.
Yeah. And so I said to them, I have these diamonds here, And I have more back at the office. If I'm not going to look at you, if you want to take these now and we can walk back to my office, I'll open the vault, take whatever you want. I have a young family. I have, a wife and at that point, 2 small children and so they really didn't say very much after that. They took the strap off my leg. And then they told me not to look up or they fucking kill me is what they were saying.
Well, you had a gun to the back of your head.
Yeah, I had it. Well, yeah.
That's what they say.
They said it was a gun. I assume it was. I mean, and it gives me. Yeah. Sorry, I haven't talked about this in a long time.
Take your time.
So, so they forced me down. I was in the car, and then they told me to stay there and don't move. And, I'll tell you what, at this point, they took the car keys, they threw them. I didn't know this at the time. And I don't know to this day how long I stayed with my face down. It seemed like 2 minutes. It was probably 2 hours before I had the nerve to move.
Yeah.
And the amount of things that run through your mind are absolutely unbelievable. Mm-hmm. But what they've done is just rob me. It was like being mugged, I guess. And what you hear about goes on in New York. They pushed me. They forced me down. They took my diamonds and they left.
Would you mind sharing how many carats worth of diamonds you think you had?
It's a good question. It really wasn't that much. It was only about $23,000 worth of diamonds. It was
at the time, though, $23,000.
Well, $23,000 at this time, I think, for most people, is a lot of money, right? It wasn't a lot. I mean, a lot of things go through your mind. I mean, again, trade, trust, and betrayal. I mean, there's guys out there right now who are doing what I used to do when I would have 15 million in a briefcase. Mm-hmm. And you can take all the precautions in the world, but if a jeweler tells one of his friends who you are and the money's there, and not to cast aspersions, most jewelers are great, terrific people.
Right.
But that was one of the main sources of concern.
And did you ever find out who the people
it was funny. I called the police after I sort of came to, and I explained the whole thing, and they didn't really seem to care very much. In fact, they took me in their car and said, well, because I never would have identified them. And I said to the police, I don't know who they are. I didn't look. Right. But they still took me in the car, I remember, and took me for a little drive around to see if I could see anybody that looked like them, which I found quite fascinating.
That's kind of funny.
Even if I did. Right, but I didn't see anything, and so that was my first real involvement in really getting, robbed.
Now, despite all these dangers of being a diamond dealer, do you ever have any regrets of being one?
What a good question. No, absolutely not. I mean, this is what comes with the business, right? I mean, if you're going to take these, the business has been very financially rewarding for me. And if you're going to be in this business, there is a risk. Mm-hmm. And you can mitigate risk and minimize risk. I mean, I don't know how that guy knew I had diamonds on me. I don't know if it was a setup from that jeweler, but I know I was ready for it. And, ever since then, we've taken so many steps to ensure not just the safety of me, but the safety of our employees. And, I mean, that's the reality. Mm-hmm. We don't keep goods we always keep them in the vault now. And the vault is not a vault where a criminal can get access. The vault is a vault in a bank. Mm-hmm. Right, where we have to go, and
you're insured for it, right?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. And working like that, when you talk about overheads, when I had 3,300 square feet of office space in the World Trade Center, our insurance costs were astronomical.
I bet.
But here's the thing: anything equal to what you insure in your office that's in a safe deposit box is free. And so they just include it on the rider. And so, our clients, I want you to know, one of the things we fight for and we're very good at is, and we give a guarantee for life, is on our prices of our diamonds, given the quality. And so one thing we don't have to pay for, the way we've structured the business, is for insurance. Like other people. I mean, if we meet with clients to view diamonds, that's a different ballgame. But many of our clients now choose to come to the vault at the bank, and we show the stones right there.
It's pretty cool.
This is, what is it I call it now? It's rock bottom.
Rock bottom.
This is, if you want the best price on the world's most beautiful diamonds, this is where they come from. Pure and simple.
That's right.
So there was a police investigation. They didn't really look into much. They had little to go on. I mean, they did fingerprinting on my car, I recall, at the time. Oh yeah. No, they were hoping they would get them, but
And they found nothing.
nothing.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah. And the things these criminals say to you, these robbers say to you when they're robbing you, is it's scary stuff. I mean, they know what they're doing. It's not like I'm going to rat them out for, $23,000. It's
Right.
just not even worth it.
No,
so
it's not. It's a
yeah.
very scary experience.
Well, there's more of them, so there's more to come. I mean, but this is, we talk about this. This is trade, trust, and betrayal. And there's so many twisted tales and stories, as you already know, Judy, that we haven't even started to talk about. But yeah, the robbery at DPG, or was it DPI parking? Geez, I can't even remember now. I think it was DPI. Anyway, it's one of the two, right? My parking spot up there, and that was it.
Well, thanks so much for sharing your story, Colin. It sounds like a very scary experience.
It was a very scary experience. In fact, weeks and weeks after, every time I touched that part of my head, I would get goosebumps, and where they held the gun against my head.
It's called
And
PTSD, babe.
PTSD. I had to go see a psychologist and stuff to work through all of that. It was
Yeah.
really quite traumatic, and I'm not the fraidy cat type. I was going to say pussy, but I don't think that's appropriate. I'm not a pussy at all. But it was a scary experience.
You learn to grow thick skin, though. I mean, having experienced all this stuff,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And what is it Goethe said? That which does not kill us makes us stronger. So we're a little bit stronger, a little bit wiser, and 100% more secure.
There you go.
So thank you, Judy. Thanks for being here this week.
You're so welcome.
Next week, we'll do robbery at the World Trade Center, or not. This is one hell of a story on a gang trying to infiltrate and rob us.
Okay, everyone, stay tuned for our episode next week.
This is episode 13, lucky number 13 this
13?
week. I think
I
so.
think it's 14.
Oh, is
Let's
it?
see who's right.
Did I miss lucky number 13?
Hang on. Oh, just kidding. You're right. I'm wrong.
Again.
Episode
Please
13.
finish your sentences. You're right, I'm wrong again. No? I'm not going to comment on that. That doesn't warrant any comment.
Bye.
Great to be here with you again this week there, Juju. I think it's
called
just
call.
wrong. Okay.
Take care, everybody.